or desperation kills attraction. And this is one of the biggest mistakes men make when they sense a woman pulling away. Instead of understanding the psychology of attraction, or they allow panic and insecurity to take control, they start texting more frequently, sending long emotional messages, calling multiple times a day, or showing up uninvited. Or in their mind, they believe that doing more will win her back. But in reality, every desperate act signals weakness. Women are wired to be drawn towards strength, confidence, and self-assurance. The moment you beg or plead, you communicate that you are dependent on her validation for your happiness, and that instantly strips away the sense of mystery and value that initially attracted her. Think about it. When she first liked you, it wasn't because you were chasing her nonstop. It was because you carried yourself with certainty. You had your own life, your own energy, and she was drawn into your world. Or desperation flips that dynamic upside down and puts her in control while you shrink into a man who is constantly seeking permission to be in her life. The truth is, attraction is not logical, it is emotional. A woman doesn't decide to lose interest because of one event, or she loses interest because over time she no longer feels the spark that your energy once created. And nothing extinguishes that spark faster than desperation. When you beg, you send the message that she is above you and that her presence is your only source of happiness. No one is attracted to a person who gives away all of their power. Or if you've ever noticed how quickly women lose respect when a man starts acting needy, it's because desperation robs you of the very masculine essence that fuels attraction. Or masculinity is about strength, independence, and leadership, not about pleading or lowering yourself to gain someone's attention. When you lean into desperate behaviors, or you're unconsciously confirming her decision to pull away, or because you're showing her that you don't believe you are worthy without her approval. Another layer to this is the psychology of pursuit. Humans, by nature, value what is scarce and take for granted what is abundant. When you flood her with attention, she no longer has to wonder about you, and without mystery there is no chase. Or she starts to feel that you are always available, always waiting, always hoping, and the value she once placed on your presence diminishes. Or contrast that with the energy of a man who remains calm and collected when interest begins to fade. Instead of reacting emotionally, he pulls back, or he continues focusing on his own mission, and he doesn't try to convince her of his worth with words. Or that type of man is the one who reignites attraction because he demonstrates strength and control under pressure. Or the ability to stay composed when you feel like you're losing someone is what separates a man who commands respect from a man who loses himself in desperation. What's important to understand is that attraction isn't about constantly doing more, it's about embodying qualities that make a woman naturally drawn back to you. Desperation tells her you don't have those qualities. When you beg, you are essentially saying, I need you to choose me because I cannot choose myself. But when you hold your ground, when you don't give in to desperation, or you silently communicate that you value yourself too much to chase anyone who no longer sees your worth, this doesn't mean you ignore her completely or play childish games, it means you shift the energy back toward yourself, rebuild your presence, and allow her to feel the gap that your strength creates. Or desperation closes the gap by overwhelming her with pressure, while composure opens it by making her realize what she stands to lose. Every time you resist the urge to beg, you reinforce the idea that you are a man of substance, and that is the foundation for regaining genuine attraction. You said keynote, no point 2, expand it into 600 words, don't add ending sentences, don't add any headings, ChatGPT said. Or self-respect is magnetic because it communicates a silent but undeniable message that you value yourself above the opinions of others. And this is exactly what makes a woman naturally drawn toward you. When you begin to lose self-respect, you start prioritizing her approval over your own standards. And that immediately shifts the power dynamic in her favor. Women instinctively test boundaries to see where a man stands, and the moment you compromise your principles to keep her interested, you teach her that she can control you. But a man who holds firm to his values without needing to explain himself radiates an energy that cannot be ignored. Respecting yourself means having limits, or it means being able to say no. It means refusing to tolerate behavior that undermines your dignity. When a woman sees that you respect yourself, or she subconsciously understands that being in your life is a privilege, not an entitlement, and this alone reignites interest because attraction grows in the presence of strength, the essence of self. Respect lies in the way you carry yourself daily. Or do you chase validation, or do you move in a way that proves you are complete on your own? Do you neglect your own goals to be at her disposal, or do you remain grounded in your own mission regardless of how she feels in the moment? These subtle details shape the way she views you. When you place her above yourself, or you show her that her opinion determines your worth. But when you place yourself first, not in arrogance, but in quiet confidence, or you show her that your life has value, whether she is part of it or not, that type of energy forces her to see you differently. Or because women are naturally attracted to men who have standards and live by them consistently, she may not consciously say it, but deep inside she feels more drawn to a man who doesn't collapse into desperation, but instead stands tall even when she withdraws affection. What makes self-respect powerful is that it doesn't require words, or it requires action. You don't have to announce that you respect yourself. You demonstrate it through the way you respond to situations. If she ignores your messages, or you don't double text or chase, you allow her to experience the silence. If she disrespects you, you don't argue endlessly or plead for her to change, or you step back and let your absence do the talking. Every choice you make that protects your dignity increases her awareness of your value. Self-respect is not about ego, it's about understanding that your time, your energy, and your presence are investments, and you don't invest them where they aren't appreciated. Or a woman can lose interest when she feels she can control a man, but she regains interest when she realizes he is not afraid to walk away if his value isn't recognized. There is also a psychological shift that occurs when you respect yourself, or you stop seeing rejection or fading interest as a reflection of your inadequacy, and instead, you see it as an opportunity to filter out those who do not truly deserve your energy. This mindset alone makes you more attractive because it shows that you are not dependent on any single outcome for your happiness. A man with self-respect doesn't need to beg, or he doesn't need to convince. He simply lives in a way that commands recognition. Even if she is pulling away, or she cannot help but notice when you refuse to compromise your integrity. That quiet strength lingers in her mind, making her question if she misjudged you or took you for granted. And often, that realization is the spark that makes her look back at you with renewed interest, because she sees what so many other men lack, the courage to put self-respect above desperation. You said, Keynote No. 3, expand it into 600 words, don't add ending sentences, or don't add any headings. ChatGPT said space creates curiosity because it disrupts the comfort of predictability that often kills attraction. When you are always available, or always calling, always texting, and always trying to fill every silence, she knows exactly where you stand. And that certainty removes the mystery that keeps her intrigued. Human nature is designed to crave what is uncertain, and women in particular are drawn toward the energy of men who are not easily figured out. By creating space, you reintroduce the unknown, and the unknown is what makes her mind wander, replay moments, and question her feelings. When she doesn't hear from you instantly, or she starts to wonder why, when you don't jump to respond, she begins to think about what you might be doing. That mental space is the soil where curiosity grows, and curiosity is the first step toward regaining attraction. Creating space is not about playing games or trying to manipulate emotions, it is about shifting the focus back onto yourself and allowing her to feel the absence of your presence. If she knows that you will always be there, no matter how she treats you, or she loses the urgency to value you. But when you create distance, when you let silence replace constant communication, or she is forced to confront the reality that your attention is not guaranteed, this activates a deeper part of her psychology that begins to compare the security she once felt with the sudden uncertainty of not knowing where she stands. in that moment, or she begins to miss what she once took for granted. Absence allows her to feel the weight of your presence, and that is something desperation can never achieve. The key to making space effective is confidence. If you create space out of fear or anger, she can sense it, and it comes across as emotional manipulation. But when space comes from a place of calm self-assurance, it communicates power. It tells her you are not rushing, or you are not panicking, you are not desperate for her attention. You are moving at your own pace, prioritizing your own life, and she can either align with that energy or risk losing it. This subtle shift places you back in a position of strength without you having to say a single word. Or space works because it allows her to feel the natural consequence of withdrawing interest. She no longer has the constant comfort of your attention, and that vacuum creates desire. Another important layer is that space creates contrast. When you are constantly present, she becomes numb to your energy because it's always available. But when you step back, the moments you do engage with her carry more weight, or a short interaction after days of silence feels more powerful than hours of constant messaging because scarcity increases value. Think about rare gems or limited edition items, or people desire them not because they are inherently better, but because they are harder to access. The same principle applies to your presence. When you are scarce, she values each interaction more deeply, and that reignites the spark that was fading. By giving her room to miss you, you amplify the impact of your return. Creating space also forces her to self-reflect. When you stop filling every gap with your pursuit, she begins to notice the silence and ask herself why it bothers her. She questions whether she misjudged your worth, whether she was too quick to lose interest, and whether she underestimated what you brought into her life. That reflection would never happen if you were constantly chasing, because she would never have the mental or emotional room to feel your absence. Sometimes the most powerful move is not to say more, but to say nothing at all, and let the space between you create the tension that words could never achieve. It is within that silence that curiosity is born, and once curiosity takes root, attraction has the chance to grow again. You said keynote no point 4, expand it into 600 words. Don't add ending sentences. Don't add any headings, ChatGPT said. Growth rebuilds attraction, because when a woman starts to lose interest, it often comes from a sense that the relationship or the man himself has become stagnant, in the beginning she was drawn to your ambition, your confidence, and the way you carried yourself with purpose. Over time, if that drive begins to fade and she no longer sees progress, the excitement that once fueled her attraction weakens. Women are naturally pulled toward men who evolve, who continue to challenge themselves, and who never stop striving for better. The moment you stop growing, you become predictable, and predictability slowly erodes the spark. But when you begin investing in your personal growth again, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or financially, she cannot help but notice the shift. Improvement is magnetic because it signals strength, vitality, and direction, and those qualities reignite her curiosity and respect. When you focus on growth, you remind her of the man she was first attracted to, the one who had a sense of mission and self-respect. It could be as simple as hitting the gym consistently, taking care of your body and elevating your appearance so you radiate health and confidence. It could mean leveling up your career, pursuing new goals, or building financial stability that shows you are serious about your future. It could also mean working on your mindset, reading, learning, and sharpening your emotional intelligence so that your conversations carry more depth and presence. Every step of progress you make communicates that you are not stuck, that you are moving forward, and women instinctively find movement far more attractive than stagnation. A man who grows is a man who inspires, an inspiration is one of the deepest roots of long-term attraction. Growth also rebuilds attraction because it shifts the dynamic back in your favor. When a woman sees that you are elevating yourself, she begins to feel the fear of loss. She realizes that if she doesn't recognize your value, another woman eventually will. Or this subtle psychological pressure reignites her interest because she is reminded that your worth extends beyond her approval. You are not sitting still or waiting for her attention. You are becoming the kind of man who naturally draws attention. That fear of missing out awakens her desire to re-engage with you, or not because you begged, but because your growth made her see you in a new light. Or this is why many men who focus on self-improvement after a breakup or during distance often find that their ex suddenly shows curiosity again. Or growth creates a version of you that she cannot ignore. Another powerful aspect of growth is that it restores your confidence, and confidence is the foundation of attraction. Or when you improve yourself, you feel better, and that energy radiates outward in ways you don't even have to verbalize. Women notice the subtle changes, the way you walk, or the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with others. And these small signals communicate strength without you having to try. Growth naturally changes your energy, and energy is what women are drawn to far more than words. A man who is improving himself doesn't need to beg because his presence already demands attention. Or instead of chasing validation, he allows his growth to speak on his behalf. Most importantly, growth is not about proving anything to her. It's about reclaiming your own power. Or when you make progress for yourself, you step back into alignment with your highest potential. You remind yourself that you are capable of evolving, achieving, and becoming more than you were yesterday. That mindset alone shifts the dynamic because it shows that you are self-driven, not dependent. Or women are deeply attracted to men who grow because growth represents safety, leadership, and vision. A man who never stops becoming better is a man she can look up to, or a man she can respect, and respect is the soil from which attraction always grows back. You said keynote no. 5 expanded into 600 words. Don't add ending sentences, or don't add any headings. ChatGPT said leadership restores respect because at the core of attraction, women are drawn to men who can guide, decide, and create stability through their actions. When a man loses his sense of leadership, the relationship often begins to drift, and with that drift comes a decline in her interest. Or leadership is not about controlling her or demanding submission. It is about embodying strength and certainty in a way that allows her to relax into her feminine energy. Or when you hesitate, when you constantly seek her approval before making choices, or when you allow her to take control of the direction, or she subconsciously begins to lose faith in your ability to lead. Without that trust in your leadership, her respect weakens, and without respect, attraction fades. Or a man who steps back into his role as a leader reignites her interest because he gives her something solid to rely on, or something steady she can follow. Leadership is shown in the smallest details. It is in the way you make decisions without overthinking or doubting yourself, or it is in the way you plan ahead, take initiative, and create experiences rather than waiting for her to decide everything, or it is in the way you maintain composure when challenges arise, showing her that you will not be easily shaken by difficulties. Leadership is not about perfection, or it is about direction. Women are not expecting men to know everything, but they are drawn to men who are willing to take responsibility, to make choices, and to stand by them. Or when you demonstrate this consistently, she feels safe, she feels guided, and she feels admiration building again. Or that admiration is the spark that reopens the door to attraction. Another layer of leadership is emotional leadership. Or a woman loses interest when she feels like she has to carry the emotional weight of the relationship. If you are constantly reactive, easily triggered, or unable to control your emotions, she senses instability, and instability makes her pull back. But when you lead emotionally, you create a sense of calm, control, and security that allows her to soften around you. It doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you express them with balance without letting them control you. Or emotional leadership is about guiding the energy of the relationship, not allowing moods or conflicts to spiral, and setting the tone with patience and composure. Or when you become the anchor rather than the storm, she cannot help but feel respect and renewed attraction. Leadership also restores respect because it creates polarity. Or feminine energy thrives when it has masculine direction to flow into. If you step back and expect her to lead all the time, she may do it, but over time, resentment grows. Or because deep down, she does not want to carry both roles. She wants a man who can guide while still valuing her input, or someone who can make her feel like she can relax and trust the path being taken. When you lead with strength and vision, it frees her from the burden of always being in control, and that freedom brings her closer to you. She begins to see you again as the man she admired in the beginning, or the man who carried himself with confidence and authority. The most powerful aspect of leadership is that it creates admiration, and admiration is inseparable from attraction. Or a woman cannot stay attracted to a man she does not admire, and she cannot admire a man who refuses to lead. By stepping back into leadership, or you show her that you are not afraid to take responsibility for your life and for the direction of the relationship. You give her a sense of security, and security is one of the deepest foundations of desire. She wants to feel that she can trust you, that you can handle life's pressures, and that she doesn't need to second guess your ability to guide. When you embody leadership, you transform the dynamic, and in that transformation, her respect and interest naturally return. You said keynote no. 6, expanded into 600 words. Don't add ending sentences. Don't add any headings. ChatGPT said, energy speaks louder than words, because long before you say anything, she feels your presence, your vibe, and the way you carry yourself. Attraction is less about what you say and more about what you radiate. When a woman senses insecurity, neediness, or desperation in your energy, no amount of smooth talking or convincing can reignite her interest. But when your energy is calm, centered, and confident, you communicate power without having to explain it. All words can be rehearsed or manipulated, but energy cannot be faked for long. It reveals who you are in silence, in body language, in tone, in the way you enter a room. That is why energy has the power to either pull her in or push her further away, because it is the truest reflection of your inner state. When you are grounded in your energy, you naturally command respect. A woman notices if your posture is strong, or if you are slouched, if your tone is steady, or if it wavers, or if your eyes meet hers with calm assurance or dart around with nervousness. These subtle signals tell her more than any words ever could, she can sense when you are genuinely confident versus when you are pretending, because authentic energy cannot be hidden. This is why men who constantly beg or plead fail to reignite attraction. Their words might sound convincing, but their energy screams desperation, and women instinctively recoil from that. On the other hand, when your energy reflects peace, purpose, and self-respect, she feels it even if you say nothing at all. Energy is also contagious. The way you feel internally spreads to the environment around you, and women are especially sensitive to that transfer. If your energy is chaotic, anxious, or unstable, she feels unsafe and attraction fades quickly. But when your energy is stable and confident, she feels grounded in your presence, and that allows attraction to grow again. This is why being calm under pressure is so powerful. It shows her that your energy is not easily shaken, that she can trust your presence in moments of uncertainty. It is not about putting on a mask. It is about cultivating an inner state where your confidence is real, your peace is genuine, and your energy radiates strength without effort. One of the most overlooked aspects of regaining a woman's interest is the role of silence and presence. You don't always need the perfect words or long explanations to make her feel something. Sometimes it is the quiet confidence in your demeanor that says everything. When you listen attentively without fidgeting, when you stand tall without needing to prove anything, when you let your presence speak louder than your arguments, you create an energy that she cannot ignore. Women remember how they feel around you more than they remember what you said to them. If your energy makes her feel respected, safe, or an intrigued, attraction naturally rebuilds because feelings leave a stronger imprint than words ever will. Energy speaks louder than words because it aligns with actions. Or if your energy is strong, your actions will naturally follow. You won't chase, you won't beg, you won't over-explain. You will simply move with quiet certainty. Or that alignment between energy and action is what convinces her on a subconscious level that you are the man worth paying attention to again. Or it's not about trying harder to say the right thing. It's about becoming the man whose energy already embodies confidence and strength. When your energy is right, or everything else falls into place, and she cannot help but notice the difference because it is felt more deeply than anything you could ever put into words.